Okay, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well this morning. And does everybody have, anybody have any questions from last week first?
I'm having a hard time with keeping my stitches straight.
Okay, I'll help you. Yep. We'll
Is
get
that
to you.
Lori Arnold? Is
Yes.
that Lori?
Yes.
Okay.
But I did
Okay.
learn how to do the stitch that we were supposed to. I tore out the simple one.
Oh, okay.
Started all over.
So you have the diagonal mosaic?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
You know what? We'll give her some scrap afterwards as well.
Okay, to
We'll
practice.
give her some
on.
doodle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this morning, we're gonna get you through all of the other stitches to do at your leisure. All right, and what we will do, Andrea has been pinned for everybody to see her, and she's gonna take us through each one of the stitches. And what we'll do is, like I said, I will upload these to the YouTube page, and I will also send links to all of them to you today, along with the link for the next Zoom. The next Zoom is gonna be on February 9th. So gives me a couple days to get back in the door after being gone. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can always email Andrea or myself. And if you email me, I'll forward it to Andrea so she can get an answer over to you quickly. Unless I can answer it myself. So Andrea, you want to take it away?
Okay, so you've done the head and the arms. Now we're going to move into her boobie area and her torso. And that is done in the diamond pavilions. And so your stitch guide shows the diamond pavilion. There is a slight modification to it, is that Michelle did a row of tents between each of the rows of the diamond pavilions. So you can add the tent, or you can leave the extra row of tent out and do it just like the stitch guide, depending on how comfortable you are with that stitch. We did diagram it yesterday. It is a straight stitch, and it is this one here. And you run it over one, the next one you go over 3, and the next one you go over 5, and then you come back down to 3, and then back over 1, and you just keep going 1, 3, 5, and that 1, 3, 5. What I mean by that is how many holes you're counting. And holes are not the proper way to say it, but anyway, it's the best way I do it. So yes, so you would do your one row, you would find wherever you could get the longest row on the mermaid so that you can then set up the stitch. So you would start right about here on either side and then just work one straight long row. When you work that one long straight row, you can then do your tent stitch on the top and the bottom. Then you come back and then rework the pavilion diamond. And you'll notice that when you're doing the 1 over 1, when you go to do your next row, that will be your longest 1 over 5. So that's a way to kind of check that you're not out of sequence. And then the one that your setup row or the previous row that's a 5, your next row should be a 1. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
If you do the tent stitch, are you doing a tent stitch below every one of those stitches?
Yes.
Yes.
So after you've got the 5, your next row is going to have a 1. Okay. And anywhere you have a 1, your next row coming down is going to have a 5. And your 3s will always be on top of your 3s.
So should we start where?
I would start somewhere about here, where you can run a straight line all the way across to set up your pattern. Yes.
And this is a vertical stitch. Okay, so when you're looking at the canvas, that second part, that second area, even the hair is the same color as her chest area. Do not do the hair because we've taken liberties and we've changed that up significantly. All right, just do the area, do the
Sorry.
the upper part of her torso.
Okay, and then a good way to help you with your compensating when you get up to the arm is if you cover your stitch where your compensating hits, it shows you what that stitch should look like. So if you should be ending here on that arm, it shows you how many stitches you should be putting in to help. And if you use a Post-it, it sticks to your stitch guide and doesn't slide around. You can also line it up probably better than I have it lined up. But it's a good way to figure out how to compensate an area if you're having trouble getting your compensation. Yeah, just cover your stitch with the Post-it where you need, where your line or where your design is, and that shows you what your compensation stitches should look like. Okay, so that's the Diamond Pavilion.
Everybody okay with that?
The second
Okay, I
stitch,
got a nod of a head. Okay.
the second stitch is it's a Bargello that looks like a scallop. And Michelle, and so this is the way it looks this way. I think you guys can see. Am I in the right area?
Pull back a little bit. Pull back a little bit.
Boop, boop, boop. There we go. So
There you
there's the
go.
scallop. What Michelle did was she turned her canvas.
The other way.
Oh. Okay. Michelle turned her
Okay.
canvas and she stitched it from the side. To make
So
it
you're
easier. to
turning your
sew.
canvas at a 45-degree angle with her head facing up. And that should help you line that stitch up perfectly.
Again, you start wherever you can start with your longest line. Right along there. And then that sets it up for the whole rest. This is a Bargello scallop over 2. And it's just straight stitches over 2. You start with the top one. Then you work your way, you come down 1. See if I can find, I think I've got it upside down. Okay, so here we go. So you start, I do have it upside down. Here we go. So you're going to start with the top one. Then you're going to come down 1. Then you're going to come down, you're going to run 4 across. They're all the same size, the same lineup. And then you start working your way up 1, then come down 1, and come across 4. Yeah. It's just a straight stitch. It's a Bargello. It's great for that scallop. It's great for water. Great for trim on skirts, pants.
And I think we need to get you a new picture of that. So I will send you out a picture of that along with the link.
So yes. So there's the scallop. As you can see, it just starts at the top and works its way down, comes back up, works its way back down, comes back up. And then we did videos yesterday on each of these stitches, and Michelle will send those out this afternoon.
I
Okay,
may even do it this morning. So
yeah. Any questions on the Bargello?
I have a question.
Yes,
As
ma'am.
usual, sorry.
Nope, you're good.
If we wanted to add something like accentuate in that area, would we remove a strand of the original thread and then incorporate that?
You could actually
No.
either, you could single or double the accentuate and add it to the threads you're currently using.
So I wouldn't have to remove any of the other thread.
no,
Correct.
because the other one is a single strand. So I would add the accentuate to it. It's not going to be too heavy. Accentuate is actually a fillings, a filament. Okay, so it's paper thin, and if you're going to use it with that, I think you guys have a silk for that one. If you're going to use it, just add 2 strands as opposed to 1.
Yes. And then you could add it to each row or just every other row. You could add it to all of it. You could even add just a row of tent with the accentuate in between each.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions? Okay, on we go then. Then we're on to the Byzantine, which is also stair step. Yep, I think we're there. Yep. So here's the Byzantine. As you see, it works in a pattern. If you work this on your diagram, fold this so I can see what I'm pointing to. Okay, so you're going to start usually on the left-hand side. You're going to work to the right. You're going to work down. You're going to work to the right. This is another one where it's really important to have your largest area done because you set up the stitch. Once you set up that stitch, then everything above and below that stitch just follows the same over two that you see here on the second row. And it just stair steps it down. This is a diagonal stitch. Your other ones were straight stitches. And there's a video of it as well coming. Okay. Questions on Byzantine? It's also good for roads, sidewalks, buildings. So it's another good stitch for other areas other than her tail.
And
A
you said to
skirt.
start on the left.
Because you're working the stitch. Here it is. Okay, so when I stitched this yesterday, I started here on what would be my left.
Andrea, could you raise that a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. There we go. So I started
you.
here on my left and I worked the stitch over to the right. So I went over 5. When you start working down, the last one you did of the 5 will be your first one that you're counting going down. So you'll have 5 stitches over 2 going from this way to that way, and then you're going to take it from top to bottom. Then again, that one in the corner counts as your first one when you start working back from the left to the right. And you're just going left to right, up and down, left and right, up and down. And once you get into,
Well, Andrea, I was just going to say, and I know we all do this differently,
yes,
but to me, it's 6 stitches down. And then that last number 6 becomes number 1 for the next row going across. Because the way this shows, you've got 6. But you're right, the last and the first incorporate into
Mhm.
the other rows, if that makes sense.
yes, yes, yes. And yeah, when I counted Michelle's yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I miscounted yesterday. I saw 5. So yep, she has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, she has 5 on hers, but her diagram has 6.
Okay, I was going by the diagram, so thanks.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and stick with the diagram because
Yeah, stick with the
And that's
diagram.
totally fine. Please do.
Yeah, so stick with the diagram. Yes, and this is another one that you can, if you're going to use it again later, this is another one where you can add another color. You could do the next row a different color. You could add a row of tint. You could add some sparkle. So this is another one that in the future you can mix up and use in other areas in other ways. So yes, that was, yeah, my mistake. There's 5 on hers and then 6 on the diagram.
okay.
We did not catch that yesterday. Okay, any questions? Other than the blank stares here in the room, which I'll get to in a few minutes.
One stitch at a time.
Okay, the last stitch for this morning is a slanted goblin. And you're going to work the slanted goblin in 2 different directions. So you're going to alternate your directions. So it is on the tip of the tail here.
Yeah.
You can either do it straight up. I've got to find it.
You gotta
Oh.
find it.
Oh, there we
There you
go. So you could again turn your canvas and work it going from top to bottom. Or you can work it going sideways, horizontal. It is over 2 stitches. Again, just work 1 row going, you know, from your top to bottom, your Texas to Maine, Maine to Texas. The other, and then you're just gonna flip flop. You're gonna be forming a V. So you'll
Mhm.
see in there as you do it, you're gonna have a V, and each time you're just going to be forming another V with the way she has done that one. It's over 2, it's a diagonal stitch, a true diagonal because it's over 2 up 2 in whole counts. I probably should have started with this. I say things a lot of different ways so that, because I don't know what way is going to catch people's attention or what they're used to. So I may say it one way that makes sense to you and another way that doesn't. Just go with the way that makes sense to you. Because the other way may make sense to somebody else. Okay. And so that is the slanted goblin.
So
And-
if we're
and-
looking at the diagram, those all
diagram-
appear to be the same way, but you're
Yes.
saying the second row should be the opposite way.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So if you're going to the right on the first row, you'll take it to the left on the second row, and then right on the third, left on the fourth.
Okay.
Could I ask a question about turning the canvas? Michelle, did you turn the canvas to do the diagonal? Oh gosh, I never remember the names of the stitches. When you did the
Okay, I
tail,
turned the canvas on the Bargello and on the slanted goblin.
but not on the Byzantine.
No.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any questions? Everybody's good? Okay. The last for today is the random. It's okay, Lori. Take a deep breath.
Yeah, right.
Is the long and short. And for some people, this drives them crazy because it's not exact. This is just random.
Mhm.
You're just putting it in.
In
Oh,
fact, this is the antichrist of needlepoint, probably.
yes. This is the one.
And probably
Lori,
one reason why I like it so much.
yes. And Lori's gonna like this one because it's more like her embroidery than the other
Yes.
stitches. Yes, she's nodding her head. Okay. So when you're doing long and short, for the larger areas, you do your stitches a little bit longer. When you start to get to a turn or a curve, you shorten your stitches slightly. You also start with your darker color first, working up to your lighter color, and then you can always go back and add your darker color if you need to. You know, this is more what you like as far as what colors you prefer and how you like it's looking. You'll also do several different layers, so it gives it that poofiness to it. But it literally is just random. You can split between, and in the video we show you, you split between 2 different threads. You're not necessarily going into, you can share holes. You can come in between 2 and bring it down. You can do it over 4, over 3, over 6, over 2. However the mood hits you.
When else can you use that stitch?
And
Where
put
else can you-
anything, any one of those straw silks or neon rays or silk lame, accentuate, anything will look great in there.
Yes. And other places you can use this stitch, Lisa just asked, is it's great for animal fur. It's great for trims on Santa's coats, it's good for leaves, and it's good for trees, bushes, grass. So it has a lot of other
That's great.
other uses for it. So yes, we used it on the two-sided Santa as Santa's beard.
Mhm.
So yes. And it's just, like I said, it's just, you just go wild, have fun with it. So yes.
Yep.
Okay, so that is that. Oh, and when you, back to the slanted goblin for a second, that one over two is great for, if you're running a border, you need to close off a project and you just want to add a quick border. It's a great one for a border. It's also great for tree trunks, buildings. It's great for, grout between bricks if you're doing a large piece with bricks. Anything, sometimes when I just see a straight line in some of those ornaments that's over two, slanted goblin's the first thing that comes to mind. So
Mhm.
yes,
And what
Um,
about
Oval
pavilion?
type leaves.
yes. The pavilion diamond, it's actually a pretty background when done in a regular and then a sparkly with a tint in between. So it's pretty for a larger area because you set up the pattern a little bit more. So yeah, it's good for clothing,
Oh,
patterns and clothing. Yes. Okay.
Any
Questions?
questions? Okay, so if we don't have any questions, I am gonna go finish uploading all the videos and I'll get them over to you. Well, probably within the next couple hours. Okay, and I'll make sure our emails are in there and the store phone number, just in case you need Andrea. while
I'm here
gone.
today, Thursday and Saturday. For them all, I'm available email and text any other days. Except Tuesday afternoons when I'm
Okay.
finishing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Feel
Thank
good,
you.
Michelle, and have a great trip.
Oh, thank you. I'll see you on my return.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
How long did it take?
Thank you,
everybody to
Andrea.
do